Hi, my name is Sally Cardy. I'm with HESA, Hashimoto's Encephalopathy Street Alliance. We're a nonprofit for Hashimoto encephalopathy and seronegative autoimmune encephalitis. And I'm here with my daughter, Caitlin, who was just diagnosed with autoimmune encephalitis this year, and with Luka, who was diagnosed with first with Hashimoto encephalopathy and now with just autoimmune encephalitis. Thank you for being with us, Luca. Um,
Yeah, of
what,
course.
how old were you when you first started going through your symptoms?
I was 14 years old. Yeah, I had just started high school, was 1 month in.
And what made you think there was something wrong? What was it that you were experiencing?
It was very, very sudden. One day I was totally fine, totally normal, very healthy. I was like on the cross country team, everything was great. And then one day, randomly in the middle of the day, I just had this mental break. Like, I don't even know hardly how to explain it. It was like all of a sudden I'm sitting in class and then crack, the world doesn't make sense anymore. I was unsure of what was real. Everything was terrifying. I just was confused and I was just sitting there panicking and like, okay, stay calm, stay calm. And I got through the rest of the day and like in a daze and terrified. And then I went, as soon as my mom picked me up from school, I just cracked, sobbing, panic attack. I never had a panic attack before. I was just hysterical, drooling, like just, it was horrible. And so at first, everyone, we thought it was like psychiatric because that's what it seemed like. I seemed totally healthy beyond that at the time. And so I immediately started seeing a psychiatrist. They put me on a million meds because I was just freaking out. I was delusional and paranoid, hallucinating. It was just like, it was terrible. I was unsure of what was real. And like, I can't even explain how like harrowing that feels. And
It's not
so
really possible to explain fully.
no, it's not. And so they put me on a million meds. I was so sedated. They were trying to figure it out, like, is it bipolar? Is it schizophrenia? And in none, it didn't match the criteria for any specific mental illness. And so they were just really confused. And so I was so sedated. I was trying to go through freshman year of high school. I already have ADHD, so school's hard enough for me as it is, and then I'm delusional and on so many sedating meds that like, yeah, it's a miracle I made it through that year, graduated.
Were you able to, you weren't able to attend every day though? I'm sure you missed a
No,
lot.
I was missing a lot of school. I made it through the first semester of freshman year at the school I was at. Um, and then I switched to a school in the second semester that was like a part-time thing. But even that's when we started realizing it was more than psychiatric. Because, well, so we were trying to figure it out. But I started having these tics that were really bad. And we thought it was like stress induced kind of thing. But one of them was this diaphragmatic tic where my diaphragm would just be spasming out of control. And sometimes it would get insanely hard to breathe. I would be on the ground clawing at my ribs, trying to pull them apart to breathe. Like one time I dislocated a rib because I was pulling them apart so bad. And so I ended up in the ER one time because of that. And that's when just my general pediatric doctor said, maybe you should see a neurologist. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And my mom was like, yeah, probably a waste of time, but I guess we'll do it. Like, because we just thought of like,
And also the pain is down here. What does it have to do with here kind of
I
thing?
know exactly. It was like, okay, and I thought of neurologists as like, well, I hardly knew what a neurologist was at 14. First of all, second of all, I thought it was like brain tumors or something, and I was like, but I at this point I was so desperate. I'm just like, okay, whatever. And so I go, and the doctor was a really great guy, and he spent 8 hours with me over 2 days and went, she is very sick. Like, and I hadn't even been noticing all these things happening in my body because I was so stuck in my head that like he was like I realized like, wow, I can't fully control my limbs. I can't feel my right side. My face is drooping on the right side. I didn't notice that. I my I'm like have partial paralysis in my right arm. All these different symptoms, and slowly they were just getting worse and worse, and there was a million more happening. The brain fog, and it was like, oh, I'm not having just a hard time processing and brain fog because I'm on a million meds. It's also, neurological. And there was so many more problems that started appearing as the year went by. But this guy was like, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but there's something neurologically very wrong. The first neurologist I saw, and then started seeing a lot more. Um, but yeah, so that was the beginning, and things progressively got worse from there. After that, I started I I I started having pain and migraines, and I barely finished freshman year. And then that summer, things just got worse and worse till I could hardly control my body. I was pretty much bedridden. I was in severe pain and couldn't process. I was still having these extreme neuropsychiatric symptoms, but I wanted so bad to go to sophomore year, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And the doctor said, you can't do that. You should not do that. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And so I started. I made it 2 weeks in, had to quit, and that's when I stopped doing school completely. I tried for a short time doing stuff at home, but that was a no go out either. I actually lost the ability to read completely, and became completely bedridden. I was in severe pain, migraines, extreme. I couldn't even turn the lights on in my room some days, just total darkness, lying there with nothing but my delusional thoughts and pain to keep me company.
So a
And
living nightmare, pretty
absolutely,
much.
yeah, it was horrible. And yeah, and
And
so things got worse from there.
things got worse. And when did you finally find a tiny bit of relief? I'm not talking big. I mean, just a little bit.
So it took 9 months to get diagnosed with autoimmune encephalitis. I saw multiple neurologists here in Colorado. I went to Duke, Mayo. Finally, they diagnosed me with autoimmune encephalitis, and they started giving me some treatment. They tried IVIG. It went horribly wrong, and I got meningitis on top of everything for like a month, and um, couldn't even sit up. It was very bad. And then they gave me steroids, um, and that was when I first started getting like a tiny bit of relief. I
Mhm.
was 15, and I think at that point it had been about 10 months or something. I got a slight bit of relief. The tics slightly calmed down. I was able to be slightly more lucid. I was able to start. I've always been like an avid reader my whole life. So, and losing the ability to read was horrible to me. So I started trying so hard to read. I remember being in a hotel room because I was at Mayo at the time. And I was trying to read, like starting with like the Percy Jackson books or something that are
Yes,
like, like I
like a teenage young adult type.
yes, yeah, it was like a simple book.
Yeah.
So I was like, I remember going through and being like, they said, like, but I was finally starting to do something, still,
That's, and
it
you're
was,
creative also. I know
yes,
that you were you sang, play, or still do play guitar, and were or are, I'm sorry, are an artist.
yeah.
So that's also something that I feel like I lost a big part of that for myself because that's what I did. And I find the creative part is gone. However, I don't know how it is for you. How much have you noticed that change?
Well, in the beginning, it was severe because I was a musician. I was constantly practicing, writing music. I played guitar and sang. I was always performing, competing. I even started recording. It looked like that's what my life was going to be. Since the time I started playing music when I was 5, and since that, it just looked like that was I was going to be like a singer, songwriter, musician. Like I was heading in that direction completely. I thought that's what my whole life was going to be, and then it wasn't, you know. And and I stopped being able to play guitar heartily. Even some of the meds I was on messed with my vocal cords, so it was hard to sing. It was horrible. I was heartbroken. Um, and but when I was bedridden for 2 years, ages like kind of like end of 14 to 16, close to 17. I mean, and by bedridden, I mean like totally bedridden. I'm still like on the couch most of the time, but like part
Do
of
you require a walking aid?
um at this point, no, not really. I mean, I can't walk long distances right now. There's been times where I'm able to walk a little longer and times where I'm able to walk a little shorter. But yes, I was in a wheelchair until I was the end of 16. Um, yeah, because I kind of was in a wheelchair from like 15, 16, or a scooter. But I went to this pain clinic, children's pain clinic in Denver, and thankfully they they gave so there was physical therapy and then pain therapy with a pain doctor that just helps you learn to handle it. Basically, they told us we can't reduce your pain at all, but we can teach you how to live with it. And then there was group therapy with other teens that had chronic pain. And my physical therapist was crazy hard on me, but it got me out of my wheelchair. I mean, she was like hard to the point of like I was exercising. One time I passed out, and then when I came to, she was like, "Get up and this time try." And like she was like hard on me. And most girls in the pain clinic quit with her, but I was desperate to walk. So I mean, I went from wheelchair to walker, and then eventually to walking without. And now I can do short distances without.
So it was like boot camp and
Absolutely.
and your sheer will to walk again. If you didn't have that will, you probably would have given up,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
you had the will and you're glad you stuck with it, I'm sure.
Yes. But what you were saying about creativity was, well, I stopped being able to sing and play guitar, but when I was bedridden, I was so bored. And I started doodling. And I had never really been like a drawing artist, but I started doodling, and then I started drawing more and more, and I fell in love with it. And now that's kind of what I do most the day. I mean, I just kind of I sketch, I draw, and that's I mean, I would in a dream world where I was healthy, I would try to pursue a career in that.
What do you like? What type of art is it?
Like, um, I I do a lot of art on my iPad, like with Procreate, digital art, painting, kind of
Oh, I
like
love those. That's
yeah,
really I didn't get to I had the old fashioned pencil and
yeah. I started with that, and then a generous family friend, bought me an iPad to try doing digital art, and I do that all the time. I really love anime art, and so
her
my
brother likes anime. That's
oh
the only
yeah,
reason I know what it is.
yeah, yeah. So my style is similar to that. I don't know. I love doing it.
Oh, that's wonderful. So it's something that brings you joy, um, is more important than people think.
Yeah,
So a
absolutely.
reason to get up, get out of bed, something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah.
What other things do you find that keep your spirits up?
Uh, let's see. My family. Um, I have 3 little sisters. I'm the oldest. They are now not so little. They're 21, 19, almost 20, and 18 in a couple days is the youngest. My baby, who's not a baby anymore. But yeah, they bring
Well,
me,
she's still my baby, even though
yeah,
she's not a baby.
yeah, they bring me joy. And goofing around with my dad or sweet talks with my mom. Uh, Anime,
Anime.
which I'm mentioning.
And
I love.
moments that you can get out of the house, I'm sure.
A few. It, I have a mixed emotions about that because I so desperately want to get out of the house sometimes, and even going to like a coffee shop or something is a big deal. But it's also so shrouded in pain that I feel like I'm half there. I have mixed emotions. It's like I want to get out of the house, but it hurts so bad. And I'm sure you get that. And
Yeah.
so it's hard. Um, I really love. I'm finally able to read again, so I love
That's
reading.
wonderful.
I love living in fiction, essentially.
So your mom might have said, you just tell me if I'm wrong, was which when you did high dose steroids, is that when you had gotten plus the pain clinic that was helping you with the occupational therapy and all that. But was it the steroids that you think you noticed that you
It,
could read again and do little things that are a big deal to you that may not be a big deal to someone else?
yes, the steroids was the beginning of that, and then I got started trying rituximab, and that was helpful, and then I one time I had plasmapheresis, well, 5 doses over the span of 8 days. Um, well, and that was horrific. It did what it needed to do. I was in a horrific flare where I was heartily lucid, in and out of consciousness, just like lying flat on the couch, and steroids or rituximab weren't doing enough. So that's when they gave me plasmapheresis. So it did what it had to do, but I cannot explain to you the amount of pain that put me in because they were like, oh yeah, no, this shouldn't really hurt that bad. But I'm like, I have chronic pain, just so you know. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I mean, it should probably be fine. And then like I was in such severe pain, these migraine that was, I can't even like, it was like I was like considering ending it somehow. There was
Well,
like nights in the hospital where I was like, yeah,
the velocity, they're literally taking your blood, cleaning it, and putting fluids back into you. That think about it's cleaning out every blood vessel in your body and putting in something new. That is shock to the system. Plus,
yeah, absolutely. And so it just triggered my pain horrifically. And then they're telling me like, oh, I wonder why you're in so much pain. People usually don't get this bad. And I'm like, I told you I had chronic pain. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess you did say that. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, yeah, it was horrible, but it did what it needed to do and got me out of that flare.
did it
But
get you out of the flare? And then what happened at that time in the hospital
at that time,
during your plasmapheresis? Why didn't you go back? Was there
um,
COVID or something?
yes, it was the outbreak of COVID, actually. My last couple days, that's when people in hazmat suits start running through the hospital, and they're like, okay, we got to get you out of here. Like, you're done with your treatment. Like, we just got to get you back home. So I went back home.
And so, considering the amount of pain you were in, even if COVID didn't happen, would you have gotten more plasmapheresis or plex?
I, maybe a year ago, I would have said, no freaking way. But the past year for me has been really hard. I've been flaring almost all year. And so now I don't know. I'm considering it.
It's the decisions that you have to make are not
Easy.
no. People,
No,
the way you get poked and prodded and the treatments you go through on top of your regular symptoms are, how do you describe that?
Torture.
yes.
Torture.
And I hate that, I was a kid. I was 14 and they're telling me like, okay, you can either get these insane treatments or you can probably go into a coma or like a vegetative state, you know, and like it's like, which one do you want to do? Like, here, tell us right now, you know, it's these huge decisions where my friends were, you know, deciding what outfit they want to wear to homecoming. And I was deciding that, you know, it was, well, the few friends I still had.
That's what I wanted to ask you next. How did it affect your social life? Because even adults have lost people in our lives. You know, it's not the kind of illness that people understand. It's, oh, okay, I broke an arm or I have something visible. And it debilitates you to sensory things, going out where there's music, even the conversations, you know, it's hard to do that. So how did it affect you, whatever you feel like talking about, because it usually is very hard to talk about.
No, it's okay. I I lost most of my friends. I mean, when you're 14 and you're no fun anymore, no one wants to be there, you know. And uh I lost most of my friends. I had a couple loyal friends that stayed for a bit, but after a while, it was too hard for them, you know. It was it was too hard that, especially as I reached adulthood, actually, because that's when everybody's like, hey, we're heading out to the bar, you want to come and stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't really. Or they're like, or you know, they're like, we're going to a party, let's go, let's have fun, and it's like, you can have one drink, right? I'm like, I'm on a million meds, dude, like there's no way,
Yes.
like, you know. And I'm like, I can't heartily stand in a room of people talking. Like sometimes that's just overstimulating. Sometimes in a room with my family,
Yeah.
just there's like six of us and they're just talking, you know, and I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I gotta go. And so, you know, yes, I lost most of my friends. I have a few. I have one really loyal, a couple really loyal friends, one that it's pretty much just the people I've known since I was like 10. I there's one friend that she grew up across the street from me when I was like 10, and we're still close, though I hardly get to see her. Another friend that lives in a different state that I've known since I was 4, so she's very loyal. Um, but yeah, that's the thing, is that uh, even the few friends that I have, I hardly get to see because I can hardly hang out. And then the days that they're like, hey, I'm free, like I'm like, oh, well, I'm too sick, you know, like,
Uh,
so I hardly get to see them, though I'm grateful that I still have anyone.
I, and you know, we've both been told, oh, you know, gee, you know, stop being so dramatic or attention seeker, or you look fine. You look fine.
Yeah.
You know,
People,
she can put on makeup, I can put on makeup, I can fix my hair, and we
yeah.
can look completely fine. I mean, there are days where we could barely shower.
Most days.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's, you know, I'm saying when we can, because, you know, it's like this, people don't understand. So at my worst, I was not going out. I just was not, and I was barely able to take care of my kids.
Yeah. I can't
With
imagine.
with Caitlin, it's she has a boyfriend, which
Oh,
you
that's really,
met how many years ago?
Almost 3 years ago.
At
Over three
first,
years ago.
he had a hard time adapting to what she was going through at
He still
first.
does, but he's getting used to it.
He's getting there, and but her friend dynamic has changed quite a bit,
Yeah.
and
His family is more supportive than my friends.
yeah,
wow, that's sad and sweet at the same time.
Yeah.
yeah, it is. But she did go through a terrible time. There was a
Yeah.
lot of
I feel like you're like telling my story. That's why I'm like
Oh, really?
a lot,
It's
yeah.
actually amazing to hear because, well, not amazing to hear. That sucks to
No, no,
hear.
I know what you mean.
But because I've met a few people with autoimmune encephalitis, or at least talked to them online and stuff, and since it's such like a diverse disease.
Mhm.
Everybody experiences it so differently, and so I've had a really hard time finding people that
Yeah.
share all the same symptoms as me.
Right.
And yeah, just speaking of I'm really glad that you have a sweet boyfriend. I mean, honestly, I'm turning 24 this year, and I've never been in a relationship. Just never been able to.
You'll
I
find the right one.
I would say
It's
it
very
was
hard.
it,
'Cause I was sick when I met him, so it was just like, do I do this? Do I not? Like, I was very hard on him because of it, 'cause losing friends, just like, I didn't wanna put that pressure on him, you know?
Do some
if
stuff.
you if
Yeah.
she didn't have him right now, she would not have an opportunity to go out and meet someone new at the moment, really. I mean, she's looking at college, and college is even she's on home instruction. So I think the social aspect is very big for people, because it's also about our emotional state, how we keep ourselves happy and joyful. It is for each one of us something different. For you, it's drawing. Um, for you, it's, having a meal with your family, talking with them. Sometimes my joy is when we just do food shopping together. Is
Yeah.
it silly, but it's stuff that I enjoy doing with her, or if we can even get out to lunch together. Some things like these little simple things that I find are meaningful to me and
I just think
her.
people don't realize that it's the littlest things
Yeah.
that, like, make people like us just, like, so happy.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't want to sound bitter, but I have a really hard time when people complain about, like, oh, my life sucks because these big things aren't happening for me. Like,
Yep,
I'm not
yep,
getting this big job I want, or
yep,
in a relationship right now, or like my life's terrible because of it, or like all this stuff. And I'm
yeah,
like, you have no idea. I would kill to just work at
exactly.
a gas station,
Yeah, like, I had someone be like, "If you think your life is so bad, I can't get the car I want." I'm like, "I'm not even able to drive." Like,
Exactly. I
it's
can't
just
either.
so, like,
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to sound bitter, and I try my best not to be, because I know, if I wasn't sick, I would be the same way, probably.
yeah,
But
Well,
it's just
I
very
think
hard.
the same. I think the same. Where would I be? Who would I be?
Yeah, I mean, it makes you, at least being so sick, makes you very grateful for all the little things you got, you
It's
know.
I
humbling.
agree.
It's humbling to say the least.
Yeah.
And what kind of support did you, I mean, I know you have a wonderful family. And what kind of support? I think your mom said you had some community come in at the beginning, um, that brought in food and
Yeah. Our church was very sweet. Thank God, yeah, for them, because they would come in and bring us food, or watch my sisters. At the time, they were still pretty young, so they would need people to watch them while my parents were at the doctor with me, stuff like that. So thankfully there was that. Um, and then, yeah, my support has, yeah, been my family a lot, my parents. But your dynamic with your family even just changes a lot when you get sick. Um,
yes, it
I,
does. How did your sisters understand? Did they understand because they were younger what was going on?
we're all 2 years apart, so
Okay.
so I was 14, then one of my sisters was 12, one was 10, and
Yeah.
one was so I'm the oldest. I've always been like, like my parents would tell me, like, you're the oldest, you take care of them, you set a good example, that's what you do as the oldest. And I was always the one that, as my mom would put, was like leading the play. Like, I was always the one coming up with, like, okay, guys, I'm going to set up an obstacle course in the backyard, and we're all going to time ourselves doing it. Or like, guys, today I had a good idea with my little camcorder I got for Christmas. Let's like make a short film, or, just like stuff like that. And I lost that. I lost that. I couldn't I mean, I was bedridden, so I couldn't do stuff with them anymore, and that broke me, and I still can't be as involved in their lives as I wish I could be. I do my best. But the youngest one, she remembers some, but not a lot. But she's amazing. She's so sweet and understanding, because she's like, um, I never I don't think of you as the sick one, like, first of all. Like, that's not my first impression of you. You're like Luka, and you're the oldest, and you happen to be sick, and it's extremely meaningful to me that that's how she thinks of me. And she thinks of me more as like, you're the one that one time made a sandwich with dandelion leaves in it because you had just gotten the Hunger Games cookbook and it had that in it and you made me eat it. And or like, or you're the one that got like way overprotective of me this one time, or stuff like that. But I'm very grateful for that, even if she doesn't fully remember what I was like before, that
So
she still
you're not just the sick one. You're not just branded sick to her. You're still Luka.
thankfully.
We know who we were.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, with this illness, it steals your identity. It steals who you are. It takes a chunk of you, and people do not understand that.
Yeah.
They don't understand what it's taken and the toll it takes. I mean, you see it in relationships because you see how people interact and you see that, but sometimes it's hard to accept it because you're like, well, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm still me, but you're not still me. And it's that is the very isolating part. That
Yeah.
is a very isolating part when all you need to do is turn all your, for example, senses off, and everyone wants to go out and do something fun, and you can't.
Mhm.
Or when
Yeah.
you like don't get invited because they're just like, oh, we thought you were sick. We thought you weren't feeling well.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
like,
That all
an
this-
invitation would have been great,
I
but they
know.
just don't want to put in the effort.
Exactly. I get that all the time. Honestly, after 9 years of this, sometimes I struggle with seeing myself as more than just an illness.
So, is there any advice you would give to um, other people going through it? Maybe, I don't know, either as a young adult or as a teenager. Is there anything positive you would share with people?
A few things, I guess, would be number one is something you probably already heard so many times, you're sick of it, but keep fighting. Like, just genuinely keep fighting, because I can't tell you honestly the amount of times I have thought of ending it, because life is torturous. And I am so grateful that I haven't, because there are still so many little beautiful things in life that I would have missed out on. And also, you don't know the future, like, you could start getting better. There's always new medical advancements coming out. They know so much more about the illness now than I did when I was first diagnosed. And so, yeah, keep fighting is number one. But also, another is, you are so much stronger than you realize you are. There's so many things that I've been through that, if someone had told me before I ever got sick, you would have to do this or that, I would be like, no way, I couldn't do that. That's horrible. I couldn't do that. But then when it comes down to it, and it's like, do that or wither away, you can do it. Like, it just, you're so much stronger than you ever realize you are until it comes down to it.
Yep.
And then third of all, just what we were talking about right now is remembering that you're more than your illness. You're a person, you're not a sickness. And
I want a t-shirt that says that.
But yeah, you are so much more than your illness. And remember that and try to just focus on the good and beautiful things in life instead of just the miserable parts. Because there is a lot of good. There is. Even when it's hard to see. If you look hard enough, you can find it.
Well
So I got
said. Everyone is in our community so wonderful, and you and your family, thank you for joining us and sharing so much with us. And
helping me.
I know you'll touch someone else in our community, and
Me.
you've already touched Caitlin.
That's good.
We will keep in touch, Luka, and thank you again. It was a total pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I could be on here.